Welcome to the Not Old Better Show, the show covering all things health, wellness, culture, and more. The show for all of us who aren't old, we're better. Each week, we'll interview superstars, experts, and ordinary people doing extraordinary things, all related to this wonderful experience of getting better, not older. Now, here's your host, the award-winning Paul Vogelzang.
Welcome, friends, listeners, everyone, to another empowering episode of the Not Old Better Show on radio and podcast. I'm Paul Vogelzang, and today's show is brought to you by Factor Exquisite ready-to-eat meals. You know, I've heard from so many of you, and I have to just say, I'm grateful for your kind words and your upbeat praise. I'm so proud. Our Not Old Better Show is a place where wisdom meets innovation to help you, our cherished audience over 60, navigate the golden years with zest and savvy. Regarding our show today, that's pretty much in a nutshell what we are all about. Today, we're diving into a realm where the future meets the familiar, where technology not only serves the young, but becomes a steadfast ally to the seasoned generation among us. We're discussing a book that's a lighthouse for those seeking to harness cutting-edge advancements to thrive in the comfort of their own homes. Talking aging in place. We will be talking with Lisa Cini in just a few minutes. This is the second edition of Lisa Cini's popular best-selling book, Boom. It's titled Boom, The Baby Boomer's Guide to Leveraging Technology so that you can preserve your independence, your lifestyle, and thrive with freedom. Of course, I mentioned the author. It's the senior living design expert, Lisa Cini, who has been a guest previously, so popular on the show. We're going to get to know so much about Lisa's work, and in particular, we're going to get to know something about simple items like silverware and expand our limited beliefs about aging.
Paul, this is why I picked this section. I'm a big fan of analogies, and I think if you can have a great analogy, sometimes it can be a mind shift for folks. So as I've gone through aging and with my parents and my grandparents, being able to communicate them with an analogy really helped them to open their brains and minds and our entire family. So here we go. Imagine never being introduced to silverware, dishes, and drinking glasses. You go through life eating with your hands and cupping your hands to drink water. There are no drinking fountains either. You survive, but you don't thrive. Life is much harder because you don't have the proper tools to handle the simple tasks of daily living. Then someone introduces you to silverware and teaches you how to use it. Life is much better, but eating soup and drinking is still a messy, time-consuming proposition. You have some tools, but you haven't been exposed to the ones that can really impact your life. This guidebook is intended to not only expose you to the best tools out there to age on your own terms, but it is also set up for you to know what you should use and when. Imagine eating soup with a fork. It wouldn't be very helpful, right? Unfortunately, the information that has been provided regarding technology is a lot like discovering a lost king's tomb from a highly advanced society where we're guessing as to what this or that is used for, and we're overwhelmed by the shiny gold everywhere. We might guess right, but it can be exhausting trying to analyze all that's out there and understand what it will be useful and not. Having said all this, I'll bet you'd be surprised to know that this book, the one you're listening to right now, brought about this thinking all about technology is actually a book about freedom. We can't stop the clock, but we can stop our limiting beliefs on aging. When we embrace aging on our own terms, we become free.
That, of course, is our guest today, author Lisa Cini, reading from her new book, Boom. In a moment, Lisa will join us to unravel the tapestry of tech that promises not just to simplify, but to amplify the lives of our generation. Today, Lisa Cini will share a light on the path to aging with grace and autonomy, freedom, helping us understand how to stay ahead in a world where technology is as much a part of our daily life as our morning cup of coffee or orange juice. Lisa will guide us through the corridors of the future, showcasing how artificial intelligence, wearable gadgets, and smart home technologies are not just buzzwords, but the building blocks for a life lived with fullness and freedom. There's that word again. Stay tuned as we ask Lisa Cini the tough questions and get the essential answers that will help you live not just longer, but better. Because here we believe in living a life of purpose and possibility, no matter the number of candles on your birthday cake. So please join me in welcoming to the Not Old Better Show on radio and podcast, author, senior living expert, and designer, Lisa Cini. Lisa Cini, welcome back to the program.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Gosh, it's so nice to talk to you again. Of course, you've been a popular previous guest on the program. Our audience of 60-plus individuals is just right there at the core. But you really talk to families because so much, and we've talked about this in the past together, that how aging in place is really kind of about a community, and I love that. And you've updated your book, Boom, which was so popular. You've shared a second edition with me and signed it, and I'm really grateful for that. Thank you again for that. And so,
you're welcome.
My best to you, of course. And my best to your family. Hope you're doing well. And I'm excited to just jump right into this because the book is, as you say, it really focuses on this idea of freedom. And so much of that today is emphasized by the technology that's around us. A lot of people are excited about this. I'm one of those, and I kind of I'm trying to embrace it. It's not always simple for me, but I'm trying to kind of figure it out. And you really do this great job of listing technology, giving us some resources for navigating the digital world in your book, Boom. It's just this great guide to independent living, aging in place. So maybe start really at the start for us and tell us, what are maybe some of the very top technologies that you came across that are presented in Boom 2? That's kind of what I'm calling it, Boom 2.
Boom 2.
Boom 2, that you found to be so helpful and ones that we just really need to be paying attention to.
Yeah, I think for me, there's so much better technology when it comes to lighting. And folks underestimate the power that light can make on your health, your well-being, your ability to experience a space without fear. I know at least now when I walk into a movie theater, I can hardly see where I'm going and to get up to the steps. And it makes you nervous and you move a little bit slower. And not having, the right color temperature of light can make you stay up all night long. I mean, we know that with, looking at our phones before we go to bed or tablets. Being able to have light direct you in the right way, help you with your circadian rhythm, and have smart lights so that, they're dimmable, they can change color, they can alert you if you have hearing issues with someone at the door or the phone calling. I think lighting is one of the best technologies out there that can improve your life and give you more freedom as you age.
That's wonderful. I just so agree with you. As I'm getting older, I just don't see quite as you make this point. You're in a theater, it's dark, maybe you go from light to dark, and adjusting doesn't quite go as quickly as possible. Lighting is one of those things, I could walk around with a flashlight, but short of that, I might have to rewire my existing house if I'm thinking about aging in place, which is such a fundamental theme of all of your work. What do you say to those people that, how can they incorporate lighting, incorporate maybe even the broader theme of technologies? How can they incorporate this stuff, all of these things, and still age in place?
Sure. I think, first thing is that, we talk about the railroad tracks, is that you have to have the either fiber connection or cable or Wi-Fi, but you have to have something that the internet and all these smart technologies can run on. And if it's not strong enough, it's not going to work well. It's a little bit like having an ill-fitted key. So if you've ever had make copies of a key before and you go to try and open something up and you can't get it open or it sticks, especially if you're nervous, that can be very frustrating.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the right railroad tracks, the right bandwidth coming into your home, these technologies aren't going to work well. Or you're going to have to pick and choose. Somewhat similar to older homes, if you haven't rewired your house for better electric, and you can't have your hair dryer and your microwave running at the same time. It'll blow a fuse. So the first thing is to get enough bandwidth or enough power to the smart devices as possible. And then what you can do is fairly easy. Almost everything is retrofittable. A lot of lights can just have a smart bulb put into them. And so a lot of this can be adaptive to what you already have, where you don't have to rewire your whole house. Closet lights, for instance, that are on sensors are just battery operated. You can put a little sensor light underneath your bed that when you get out of bed, it automatically comes on when your feet hit the floor and helps you to maneuver a little bit easier in the middle of the night to the bathroom. So not everything is a big undertaking. A lot of these things are fairly simple and smart and cheap.
Yeah.
That's the best way to say it.
Right. So when you say smart bulb, you're talking about what I might know of as an incandescent bulb to an LED, which might be considered a smart bit of technology.
Yeah,
LED
I'm going a little bit further than that. The LEDs on sensors are better, but you could even have like a GE or a Philips smart light, and there's other brands out there. So typically they're LED, especially if you have a Hub or a Google Home or an Alexa or something like that. You can actually then dial them in for routines. They can be put on sensors. They can change for different moods. So they can do so many different things, and they can also help with security.
The book is wonderful, too. It's just chock-a-block full of these resources, and so I want to direct our listeners to check out Lisa's new book, Boom, The Baby Boomer's Guide to Preserving Your Freedom. Important, I think, there, and thriving as you age in place. So let's talk about something that's really getting quite a bit of attention these days in terms of technology. There's data mining on the one hand, and I think that's, maybe just touch on that. But I think the bigger of these subjects that's getting, I think the lion's share of attention these days is artificial intelligence. And it might be one of those things that might be a little frightening for some of our audience. What exactly is AI, and what are the advantages, and how can it be used in a way that's going to give me the freedom so that I do thrive as I age in place?
So those are great questions. Data mining, to kind of sum it up, is a digital version, kind of the yellow book pages that we used to use, or going to the library and having the Dewey Decimal System and being able to look up any book anywhere. So what it's doing, though, is it's digitizing information, understanding what your likes and preferences are, and it may be learning from those. So data mining and AI often work together. But for instance, if you're in your house and it's data mining when you turn on your thermostat and when you turn it down and those types of things, or when you go to Florida for 3 months or something like that, it can learn those routines and then automatically do them for you. And so it's actually customizing towards you instead of you having to think. So like a great personal assistant would. Like, hey, he always likes the aisle seat on the plane, so it automatically always books you on the aisle seat. So those kind of preferences are what data mining would be. The AI portion is automatically making those things happen for you without you even having to ask.
So will AI help me even discern, kind of give me a sense as to how to settle on kind of the best course of action in terms of taking on some of this technology and how I can...
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. So, part of what AI is, which is artificial intelligence, everybody's like, oh, it's listening to everything, it's doing everything. Yes, it is. But your phone, even when your phone is 100% turned off, for at least about 10 years, it still can listen to everything you're doing if someone wants to. So we no longer live in a private world. Having said that, when phones came about, there were party lines. So I don't know if, at least my grandparents had it and my parents grew up with it.
Oh, yeah.
When you got on the phone, other people could get on that line and actually listen. So if you're talking about your neighbor, you better be careful.
Right.
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 And if I was talking to my boyfriend on the phone, my mom would pick up the phone line in another room where I didn't hear her and could hear that.
Oh, gosh. I know.
Yeah. So artificial intelligence is a little bit like that.
Uh-huh.
You might want to be cautious. On the other hand, there's a lot of really wonderful things that it can do for you and help you. Essentially, it can help to be a personal assistant for you, or even kind of a healthcare professional, without you even have to think about it. It might remind you to take your medications. It might remind you that you have a doctor's appointment at 2, or that you the refrigerator is out of milk. And there's always milk in there, and you might want to add that to the grocery store list, and it sends a text to you. So, it can help you to do better things. AI in our cars can help you stay in the right lane. Or if you I was driving the other day, and my car came up on the dashboard, and it had a cup of coffee, and it said, you might want to take a coffee break. And I thought, wow, am I driving bad, or is it just that I'm driving too long? Some might feel a little invasive, but a lot of it is intended to make you safer and freer and be able to enjoy things, better, because you're not worried about the little tiny stuff.
Hi, everybody. It's Paul. I mentioned our sponsor today, Factor. You can elevate your holiday experience with Factor. Factor is the pinnacle of ready-to-eat meal delivery services dedicated to enriching your dining with a fusion of convenience, nutrition, and just culinary brilliance. It's ideal for those of us who are embracing the wisdom of age and beyond. Factor is your ally in navigating the holiday bustle with grace, health, and exquisite taste. You can unleash the joys of the holiday with Factor's chef-crafted meals, which are delicious. I will tell you this from my own experience. I've tried several of these ready-to-eat meal delivery systems, and some are really okay, and one, Factor, is fantastic. So just dive into a realm where luxury meets convenience, eliminating the need for tedious preparations, yet delivering meals that echo with freshness and taste. Factor's Gourmet Plus options weave a tapestry of premium ingredients to transform your dining into a splendid celebration, allowing you to enjoy special occasion meals with minimal hassle. The other thing that's really important to me, and I know all of us in the Not Old Better Show audience, is nourishment. Factor tailors the nourishment right to you. Factor's diverse menu, ranging from mindful calorie smart options to robust protein plus meals, which are just so essential for us in the Not Old Better Show audience, offer a spectrum of choices that resonate with your health goals, ensuring that your holiday meals are both delightful and nourishing. So, this November, get Factor and enjoy eating well without the hassle. Simply choose your meals and enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered right to your door. Ready in just 2 minutes? No prep, no mess. Looking for special occasion meals during the holidays? Level up with Gourmet Plus options. Prepared to perfection by chefs and ready to eat in record time. Enjoy premium ingredients like broccolini, leeks, truffle butter, and asparagus. So, here's the exclusive offer for our Not Old Better Show audience. Gift yourself the luxury of Factor's exquisite meals with an exclusive offer. Visit factormeals.com/NOB50 and use code NOB50 to explore a world of culinary delight at an extraordinary 50%. The important part, 50% off. All of this will be in our show notes. But embark on a culinary journey that cherishes your time, health, and your taste buds. Will you allow Factor to be your companion in celebrating the holidays with ease, elegance, and nutritional excellence? Of course you will. Check out Factor NOB50. Thanks, everybody. Really wonderful stuff. We are with author Lisa Cini. Lisa Cini has been a guest previously on the program. Lisa Cini has unveiled her new book, Boom, a guide to independent living and aging in place, embracing tech for seniors, a tech revolution, discovering the future of all of this wonderful technology that can enhance, balance our lives, I think, too, but really give us this idea of freedom that you touch on so well, and I think is a powerful one. But I want to talk with you just for a moment, Lisa, about money, because technology isn't cheap, and I wonder if you'll tell us a little bit about how Boom deals with the cost of implementing some of these new technologies, especially for our audience and their families.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, as we age, it's not cheap.
Yeah.
Groceries have went up, insurance goes up, housing costs go up. A lot of folks are on fixed incomes. But a crisis can cost you a lot more than preventative measures.
Huh.
And so some of the technologies, you can get a little, sensor light for $13. Try and go out and get a meal for $13.
Right.
And that might help you not to trip or fall when you get in and out of bed and be a little bit more sure-footed. You could have a toilet paper holder grab bar for $63. And then as you're, using the facilities, which is, a couple times a day, you're going to be much safer because most slips and falls happen in the bathroom. You can go all the way up to a $50,000 elevator in your home if you wish, or smart flooring, or lighting. There's all different costs, but you have to look at it as, how will it improve my life? How am I going to be able to, actually contribute to society longer and maybe even still work on my own terms longer or volunteer? And senior living is a lot more expensive than these tiny little, gadgets or paint colors that might be able to help you.
Let's talk for just a second about some of the resources in the book, because I know as I was reading it, I leafed through the references. I found a great one about robotic lawnmowers, and I just think that's something that I think our audience needs to be. As we get a little older, we might not want to be out pushing a lawnmower or powering up a lawnmower. There might be some environmental concerns. Having a robotic lawnmower might be something really worth checking out. I wonder if you just go through some of the pros and cons of some of these technological aids and what your resources have really brought to light when it comes to selecting the right technology for you.
So I think that's great. There's always pros and cons to any technology, right? We have the cell phone now, and we're not tied to a landline, but now we're 100% accessible at all times. So that's kind of the con. It's a pro if you have kids and you want to know where they're at or whatnot. So one of the biggest cons for me in technology is the setup. It's, quite often it's frustrating to set up. It's not fun. It's not as intuitive as it should be. It's certainly not plug and play. And I think the mentality is that the folks that are engineering these products are younger, and they are willing to play around and not read an instruction booklet and are not worried about breaking something. Where me, I was, the first time I got a computer at my job, I never turned it off because I thought I was going to lose everything. Like I just didn't understand the concept. And, I'm so scared that I'm going to do one wrong sequence and break something. But I think we have to adapt to a different mindset, that it's a little bit like learning how to drive stick shift. And sometimes you have to grind the gears a little bit to learn how to do it. And if not, engage your younger adults that you have. Hire someone to help you out, and then document everything about it. It's just very, very important that you do that. It helps with technology so much to be able to, be able to buy into it, because it does get frustrating when the power goes off and then everything has to be reprogrammed. But get your advocate for that, write down your instructions, maybe even record how to do it. There's a great app out there called Otter, OTTER.ai, that can actually for free record a conversation and then transcribe the whole thing.
Wow.
And just relieve that kind of stress. And you can use that when you're visiting the doctor or you're getting instructions on setting up your tech. So, that's some of the negative. The positives are just so many, so many, especially with some of the, wearables or healthcare items or scales or bidet toilet seats or security. There's just so many opportunities for, great changes to be able to help you live with more freedom.
I've always liked this idea that you have about integrating interior design into your projects, and you even have a living tech lab for aging in place. You want to describe that a little bit and tell us how living has been reimagined, how senior living in particular has been reimagined during these days?
Sure. So during, after my grandmother passed, I got the opportunity to actually buy a home that was a historic home and move into it and put all the latest tech in and experiment and then Airbnb it so that people could come and try all that technology out and then get feedback to be actually able to give real-time knowledge to the vendors to change and modify their products and instructions, which, to my surprise, we've had a lot of, hey, I don't understand how this tub works, or this doesn't, this bothers me, but this is fantastic. So, just all those kind of knowledge things when you're actually living in an environment with the tech and then you're getting other people to try it out has been exponentially beneficial for not only the people that have visited, but also the manufacturers that are able to have more intelligence and knowledge and do better product rollout.
That's fascinating. So as an Airbnb, did you actually have some elders, some seniors join you too? Were they there and kind of experienced it firsthand?
Yeah. So we have
fantastic.
And then we have had just, all kinds of folks. Sorry, there was a fire engine in the background.
Okay. Stay safe.
So we have had everyone of all ages, and we even were awarded this year for North America Disability Matters Marketplace Award because it's worked to the advantage of anyone that is differently abled. Having kitchen cabinets that come down off the wall and to your height, whether you're short or whether you're in a wheelchair, being able to have an adjustable sink or toilet, safety bars that don't look like they're clinical. All those kinds of things really are great for whether you're 9 or 92.
Such wonderful work. It is always such a pleasure to talk to you. I get a real sense of just encouragement and motivation myself because you're doing some great things on the subjects of independent living and aging in place and technology for seniors. I wonder if you'd take us out. My final question for you has to do with just some advice to those of us who might feel overwhelmed with the rapid pace of technology and how quickly things are changing in terms of our ability to incorporate some of these innovations. I wonder just what's the first step that we should take?
Yeah, I think the first step is to not think that you're stupid. I think that technology can often make us feel stupid. And that we don't understand and that we're not going to get it and that we're maybe too old. And I would say kind of, again, my analogy, it's a lot like learning how to drive a stick shift, which can be a little bit frustrating at the beginning. Yeah. But then once you have it, you're so liberated, you get to drive the car, right? So that's a piece of advice. But I would also say that, don't worry about doing everything. Worry about just finding one thing that calls to you and that makes you feel comfortable. It might be something like a, Google Home or Alexa that you can listen to music on, but you can also have it remember your grocery list. It could be, a Ring camera that makes you feel safer because you can see who's at your front door before you answer it. Just find some little tiny things that you feel comfortable being able to adopt and live with more freedom instead of fear.
So great. Lisa Cini, thanks so much for your time. There's so much in this book. We didn't get a chance to talk about it all. We really need to, but I think more importantly, our audience needs to go check it out. That's Lisa Cini's new book, second edition of Boom, The Baby Boomer's Guide to Preserving Your Freedom and Thriving as You Age in Place. Thanks so much for going through all this stuff, for all of your work, for inspiring us. Good stuff. Please come back and talk to us again, Lisa. And my best to you over the holidays. And boy, there's a whole another show we could do about exercise and the future of senior workouts with all this technology.
Exactly. I would love it. I would love to come back and share with the audience. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. My thanks to Factor ready-to-eat meals. They are exquisite. They sponsored today's show. Please support our sponsors as they, in turn, support the show. My thanks to Lisa Cini for her generous time and for generously reading a passage from her new book, Boom, The Baby Boomer's Guide to Leveraging Technology. This is a great book. You're going to want to check it out. My thanks to you, my wonderful Not Old Better Show audience here on radio and podcast. Please be well and be safe. Remember, let's talk about better. The Not Old Better Show. Thanks, everybody. We will see you next week.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Not Old Better Show. To find out more about all of today's stories or to view our extensive back catalog of previous shows, simply visit notoldbetter.com. Join us again next time as we deep dive into some of the most fascinating real-life stories from across the world, all focused on this wonderful experience of getting better, not older. Let's talk better. The Not Old Better Show.